Let's see, what comes to mind when I think of Corey Perry? Soccer player, cheap shot artist, Katy Perry, oh, and that show, Hoarders? Cause this guy, for some reason, loves collecting players' equipment for himself. And in case you didn't see the title, Perry can definitely be a real jerk, when he wants to be. From water spraying to stick stealing to countless dirty plays, Perry has made his way to the top of most players' hate lists. And with that, here are the top 12 jerk moments thus far in Perry's career. As you'll quickly learn, when Perry's team's losing within the final few minutes of the game, he tends to wreak havoc on anyone and everyone that he can. And as a subtle way to stick it to the Winnipeg Jets, who had the lead within the final few seconds, shot the puck intentionally well after the whistle blew. This, of course, infuriated basically the entire Jets roster, who immediately jumped the perpetrator as a massive brawl ensued. In hockey, there's two types on ice that you want to avoid hitting: the guys wearing the pads and the ones in the black and white stripes. But as you'll quickly realize, in Corey Perry's mind, anyone is fair game. As Coyotes goaltender at the time, Louis Domingue was the casualty in this game, when faced with Perry's less than savory antics. After the puck trickled behind the net, Domingue was about to make a routine play with the puck, but wasn't able to due to, taking a check to the chest by none other than Perry himself. As you would expect, the netminder's team quickly came to his aid, but Domingue made sure that he got his revenge first thing, and tackled the forward to the ice. And really, who can blame the guy? As I mentioned before, think of Corey Perry as the klepto of the NHL, always taking sticks, gloves, or anything he can snatch from opposing players. This time, it was Alex Semin who became victim to the stick snatching as he was about to join the play. Semin was of course incensed and could be seen throwing his arms up in disbelief. Now we all know the playoffs can be a completely different animal. Stakes are higher, intensity's greater, and every play counts. But for a few seconds, all of this common knowledge and sense apparently went out the window as far as Corey Perry's memory is concerned, as during Game 1 of the first round of the 2018 playoffs, he decided to do a little headhunting while delivering a late hit at Melker Karlsson's expense. The forward's helmet could be shown flying and Melker himself tumbling to the ice. In result, Perry was given a 2-minute penalty for interference and inadvertently cost his team the game. Now back to another larceny committed by our not-so-favorite stick stealer. But this time though, the victim wasn't taken by surprise, as Marian Hossa immediately recognized Perry's intentions and therefore held onto his stick. Oof, that definitely sounded explicit. Anyways, after playing tug a stick a bit, Hossa then relented and decided to let Perry take the stick. Instead, it fell to the ice as Perry skated away. I guess it's just not as fun if there's no opposition. So besides having an obvious issue with coveting other players' equipment, Perry also likes to get extracurricular by using his water bottles to taunt the opposing players. And he did just that to Olympic teammate Jeff Carter during Game 1 of the Western Conference quarterfinals of 2014. As Perry decided to hydrate Carter's glove for him during a stoppage in play. Carter, who was completely unsuspecting until the glove was on, couldn't help but laugh at Perry's sneaky prank. During the first game of the 2013-14 season, things got pretty heated between both head coaches who are known to have tempers. But one player who couldn't help himself from getting in the middle of the altercation was, you guessed it, Corey Perry. As Perry made it a point to angle the projection from his water bottle right in Wall's direction. This, of course, enraged the Avs players that saw the act, including Ryan O'Reilly and Cody McLeod, who were conveniently separated from reaching Perry by the officials. This is looking a little familiar. Playoff game, Ducks are losing, and oh yeah, there's only a few minutes left to play. And yet, another familiarity is seeing Perry, yet again, take his frustration out on anyone nearby. And this time, even officials weren't exempt from Perry's wrath, as the official who was at the time separating Perry and Vernon Fiddler was yanked at the arm by Perry, who immediately took a cheap shot at Fiddler in result. And even though this move was arguably suspension worthy, yet again, Perry walked away scot-free. But Perry wouldn't be getting so lucky this time. During a regular season game of 2013, after he decided to, for whatever reason, acquaint his elbow with Jason Zucker's face. As Zucker lied incapacitated from the hit, Perry was almost immediately ejected from the game. Eventually, Zucker was able with help to exit the playing surface, but like Perry, would miss the next game, as Perry, due to the senseless act, was suspended for the next 4 games. During a game in March of 2009 against a rival team in San Jose, Perry really let his true colors show, as midway through the last period, while being the usual net front presence that he is, decided to up the antics just a little, by first cross-checking the hamstrings of Sharks goaltender at the time, Evgeny Nabokov, and then he took it even further by hacking at the netminder's stick, as he remained vulnerable. If I were to say that Corey Perry was the most hated player in San Jose, well, you could definitely understand why, as the forward has relentlessly punished many players in teal and white over the years. And yet another to fall victim to Perry's cheap shots was Sharks defenseman Marc-Edouard Vlasic, whose head apparently looked an awful lot like a piñata to the Ducks forward, as he could be shown hacking and whacking at Vlasic's lid several times. After finishing his onslaught against Vlasic, Perry decided to get a little more risque by going for the one player that you aren't supposed to mess with, the netminder. This time, it was Brian Boucher who received the senseless jabs, as Perry, who was hunched over Boucher, began punching the goaltender in the face and even stomping on him, before giving him one more subtle shove as an official took notice. Conveniently enough though, Perry had waited till the buzzer sounded to give Boucher his farewell send-off,